It's been a while since we had a B crossover on Marek drives, so here it goes. The facelifted Opel Mokka X.
My first encounter with this car was 4 years ago. I remember praising Mokka for spacious interior but complaining about the ride, handling and price. Has anything changed? Let's start with the boot. At 356 liters, it's not much smaller than in an Astra. By the way, Mokka is more expensive than the Astra, but we'll get to the pricing later. The 356 liters is available as long as you don't choose an optional spare tire or an optional flex-fix bike rack, which extends from under the bumper. There are 4 shopping bag hooks and not much else.
There's decent legroom and headroom in the back, especially if one takes into account that the Mokka is based on the Corsa. The tunnel in the middle is relatively small. This car gets a 12-volt socket, but there is also an option to get a 220-volt socket. Door pockets will theoretically accommodate small bottles of water. There are also cup holders in the armrest. Backrests will fold flat, but first you need to raise the seat, and only then you get a flat loading surface. And when you close the backrests, the seat belts disappear behind them. So that's kind of annoying, and you have to watch this part when closing the seat back.
Biggest changes are visible in the front. There is a new 8-inch IntelliLink infotainment display. It's easier to read and use than its predecessor. Reversing camera is an option regardless of trim level. There is also a new instrument cluster where you can get up to a 4.2-inch display between the dials. If I were to complain about something, it would be the buttons on the center stack. There are too many of them, but at least in the Mokka, pictures are larger than in the Corsa and I can see what they are for. Heated steering wheel is an option you may find yourself using more often than you suspect. There is a cubby with USB and 12-volt socket at the bottom of the center console, a couple of cup holders, and another cubby between the seats. Glove box is rather small, and the captain armrest lacks adjustment, so it's too low for me.
I had to go back to my Mokka review from 4 years ago to actually remember anything about this car, like the Corsa. Also, Mokka is not a car you're going to remember vividly. It seems back then I was disappointed by noisy suspension and soft ride. If that was the case, Opel must have fixed it. I also complained about understeer, which I can't feel today. Mokka corners just fine. Perhaps the steering is tad light, which can be an issue on a motorway during crosswinds, but otherwise, the car is generally fine.
Mokka does have lane departure warning, but no lane assist. I like traffic sign recognition as long as it works, because sometimes it fails to see a speed limit has been revoked. Recognizing traffic signs is Opel Eye camera. It also measures the distance to cars in front, and the driver gets this information expressed in seconds. Remember that 60 km per hour is about 17 meters per second, 120 km per hour is 33 meters per second, and so on.
Mokka X gets the same 1.4 140 horsepower petrol turbo engine that I tested 4 years ago in the pre-facelift Mokka. It's more than enough around the city, but on back roads, plan ahead before overtaking. It's not that it lacks power, but I think displacement is just too small. Anyway, you don't want to drive the Mokka too fast, because it does get loud inside. Opel claims 1.4 140 horsepower Mokka with all-wheel drive will use 6.5 liters of petrol per 100 kilometers. I'm getting more like 8 to 9. Speaking of all-wheel drive, this car has it, and like the car 4 years ago, it also has some underpinnings protruding from under the rear seats. Maybe I should skip the off-road part so as not to lose anything. What do you think? Nah, come on, let's go and see. If I lose something, it's gonna be funny.
All-wheel drive is based on an electronic multi-plate clutch which can split power between the front and rear axle up to 50-50. In everyday driving situations, all power is sent to the front wheels, but if a need arises, rear axle can be engaged instantly. Mokka looks modern, but not too extravagant so as to scare off more conservative buyers. It drives well enough, but it is not demanding. It's compact outside and spacious inside. I think I'm beginning to understand why I did not like it 4 years ago. At the time, this was just a small expensive car. The B crossover segment was virtually non-existent. Today, we're used to small cars pretending to be off-roaders, and compared to the competition, Mokka seems like a sensible choice. As long as you want a Corsa-size car, which is more expensive than an Astra. I get it, and I respect your choice.
All this correctness means that although I'm struggling to find any major faults with the Mokka, personally I wouldn't want to own and drive one. This is a car to get from A to B, not to drive and enjoy.
Prices of the Opel Mokka X start at €19,000. This top trim model with options costs around 32 grand, which makes you wonder, how much do you want to drive this over, let's say, a Mini Countryman? Let me know in the comment section below, share, rate, subscribe, watch more of my reviews and join me for a new episode every Friday. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.